You're throwing away half your growing space if you're not using shade. The Amish grow ginger, turmeric, and morina under trees where others assume nothing will thrive. These crops actually prefer filtered light, and planting them in overlooked corners means you're getting food from places most gardeners ignore. Turn every inch into food. The Amish don't waste a single square foot of space. Their front yards grow potatoes, beans, and squash where others only have grass. Most people see landscaping as decoration, but the Amish see food potential in every corner. The difference between their gardens and yours? They've stopped asking, "Where can I grow food?" and started asking, "Where can't I?" Take balconies and windowsills. Most people use them for flower pots or storage. The Amish grow herbs in tin cans on windowsills and hang tomato plants from balcony railings. One family produces all their salad greens in shallow wooden boxes on a porch. They don't need deep soil. Lettuce roots grow just 6 inches down. Pathways aren't safe from planting either. The Amish plant creeping thyme between stepping stones. It tolerates foot traffic, deeters weeds, and flavors their stews. A 3-foot-wide path produces enough thyme for a family all year. They plant mint along shadowed fence lines where grass won't grow. It thrives where other plants fail. Front yards are prime growing space. One Amish family plants 200 square feet of potatoes where their neighbors have decorative shrubs. The potatoes yield 300 pounds, enough to last until spring. They mound the plants with leaves instead of hilling soil, which saves backbreaking work. Even stairways become gardens. The Amish place pots of strawberries on each step. The plants catch dew and sunlight at different angles, extending the harvest. A 10-step staircase can produce 20 quarts of berries without touching the main garden. The trick is seeing and use space differently. That strip next to your garage, perfect for raspberry canes. The area under clotheslines, ideal for shade-loving herbs. Even a mailbox post can support a climbing nasturtium plant. The flowers and leaves are edible. Every wasted space is a missed opportunity. The Amish know this better than anyone. They've been turning limitations into abundance for generations. Your property likely has 5 times more growing space than you realize. You just need to look at it through their eyes. Grow where others won't. Most gardeners avoid shady spots, but the Amish fill them with food. That dark corner by your shed or to the north side of your house. Gold mines for growing. The Amish plant chia and longevity spinach where sunlight barely touches. These leafy greens actually grow tougher and more nutrient-dense in shade. Ginger and turmeric flourish under trees where tomatoes would fail. Their broad leaves burn in direct sun, but thrive beneath dappled shade. One Amish gardener grew 15 pounds of ginger in a 4-foot square patch under a pear tree. The tree's roots didn't compete. Ginger grows shallow. North-facing walls seem useless until you hang rain gutters along them. The Amish plant spinach in these gutters, using the wall's reflected light. The metal retains warmth overnight, protecting plants from frost. One family harvests spinach 3 weeks earlier than their neighbors by using this trick. Woodland edges become medicine cabinets. The Amish wildcraft ginseng and golden seal where forest meets field. These slow-growing herbs need decades to mature commercially, but produce harvestable roots in just 5 years under proper shade. A 10-foot square patch yields $300 worth of roots annually. Dark alcoves host mushrooms. The Amish inoculate logs with shiitake spores and stack them behind outbuildings. 5 oak logs produce 6 pounds of mushrooms yearly, with no care beyond occasional watering. They position the logs where morning dew drips from roofs for automatic irrigation. Even deep shade has solutions. The Amish plant ferns, not just any ferns, but ostrich ferns for fiddleheads. These young fern fronds taste like asparagus. A single mature fern clump yields 10 pounds of edible shoots each spring. They grow where nothing else will, even beneath black walnut trees that poison most plants. Shaded pathways grow ground covers you can eat. The Amish plant sweet woodruff between stepping stones. It flavors May wine and grows where grass won't take. A 6-inch wide strip along a 50-foot path provides enough herb for annual batches of traditional beverages. The payoff is simple. Your property has growing zones you've never considered. Where you see darkness, the Amish see opportunity. Their shade gardens prove food grows where you least expect it, if you know what to plant. Start with one shady corner this season. Plant some ginger or spinach. You'll gain a harvest from space you thought was worthless. Ignore the seed packet rules. The Amish plant 3 cabbages where seed packets say to grow 1. Those spacing guides are written for farmers with tractors, not for your backyard. They pack plants tight because every inch counts when feeding a family from a small plot. Interplant fast crops with slow ones. Radishes grow alongside squash. Harvest them before the squash vines spread. The radishes break up soil for the squash roots while they grow. One Amish gardener pulls 50 radishes from between her zucchini plants before the zucchinis need the space. Offset plants instead of planting in rows. The Amish arrange crops in diamond patterns, not straight lines. This fits more plants per square foot while letting leaves overlap. 6 lettuce heads grow in 1 square foot this way instead of 4. The outer leaves tuck under neighboring plants without crowding. Leafy greens grow tighter than recommended. Spinach planted 1 inch apart forms a living mulch. The leaves shade soil while growing. An Amish family cuts outer leaves continuously from 2 square feet of densely planted spinach, enough for weekly salads from April through June. Root crops grow closer when harvested small. Carrots spaced 1 inch apart produce finger-sized roots perfect for stews. The Amish thin every other plant for summer meals, leaving room for the rest to size up for storage. A 4-foot row yields 2 harvests this way. Early vining some mature roots later. Vertical plants create shade for tight plantings. The Amish grow pole beans directly behind dwarf bush beans. The bush beans produce first, then the pole beans climb trellises above them. 2 crops share the same ground space at different times. Succession planting overlaps crops perfectly. As soon as peas finish producing, the Amish plant bush beans in the same space. The pea roots fix nitrogen the beans will use. They gain an extra month of growing time by not waiting between crops. Intensive planting requires precise watering. The Amish use soaker hoses snaked through dense plantings. Each hose waters 4 rows at once, with emitters spaced to match plant groupings. They save 30 minutes daily compared to hand watering. Companion planting maximizes each square foot. The Amish grow basil between tomato plants at half the recommended spacing. The basil deters pests while using moisture that would otherwise evaporate from bare soil. Shallow-rooted and deep-rooted plants share space. The Amish plant onions around young fruit trees. The onions don't compete with tree roots while making use of surface nutrients. One orchard produces 80 pounds of onions annually from otherwise unused space. Dense plantings need more fertility. The Amish side dress crops with compost tea every 3 weeks during peak growth. This feeds soil microbes that help roots absorb nutrients efficiently in crowded conditions. The payoff is simple. By ignoring commercial spacing guides and observing how plants actually grow together, the Amish harvest twice as much from the same ground. Their gardens prove space recommendations are suggestions, not rules. Start with 1 bed this season. Plant your carrots or lettuce at half the suggested distance. Go vertical or go home. While most gardeners sow everything in spring and face a glut of produce in July, the Amish spread out their planting to harvest food continuously. Their secret lies in treating the garden like a production line, where new crops replace old ones the moment they're harvested. Start with lettuce. Instead of planting an entire bed at once, the Amish sow a 2-foot row every Monday. By the time the first planting matures in 45 days, the next is halfway grown. This simple rotation means fresh salads from April through November from just 12 square feet of space. The key is to choose varieties with staggered maturity dates. Plant butterhead and oak leaf types together for a longer harvest window. After pulling onions in mid-July, the Amish don't leave that space empty. They immediately plant dry beans in the same rows. The beans fix nitrogen in soil depleted by onions and mature before frost. One family harvests 20 pounds of beans from a former onion patch, enough for winter soups. This quick turnaround turns 1 space into 2 productive crops. Radishes show how fast space can cycle. The Amish sow them between slower-growing cabbages. The radishes mature in 28 days, freeing up space just as the cabbages need room. 1 square foot yields 3 radish harvests before the cabbage fills out completely. That's 30 radishes from ground that would otherwise sit half-empty for months. Cool season crops get a second life in fall. Spinach planted 4 weeks before first frost grows slowly under snow cover, then explodes with growth in late February. The Amish use simple low tunnels, bent PVC pipes covered with plastic to protect these plantings. 6 square feet of tunneled spinach provides fresh greens 3 months before spring planting begins. Even long-season crops get staggered plantings. The Amish sow corn in 3 batches, early April, late April, and mid-May. This stretches the harvest from July through September instead of a single overwhelming week. They apply the same principle to bush beans, planting a new patch every 2 weeks for continuous picking. Carrots demonstrate how timing affects yield. Early March plantings produce tender baby carrots by May, while April sowings grow larger for storage. By June, the Amish plant short, fall varieties that mature as temperatures cool. This 3-phase approach yields carrots for 6 months from the same bed. Tomatoes get a clever twist. The Amish start main crops in spring but plant fast-maturing varieties like Early Girl and Midsummer. These late plantings bear fruit in September when older plants slow down. 4 strategically timed tomato plants outproduce 8 planted all at once. The Amish calendar includes gap fillers for unexpected bare spots. When a zucchini plant succumbs to pests in July, they immediately transplant pre-started cucumber seedlings into that space. They keep 6-pack trays of fast-growing backups, basil, chard, green onions, ready to plug into any opening. Winter gardening sneaks in extra cycles. The Amish plant garlic in October where summer squash grew. The garlic uses space that would otherwise sit idle until spring, yielding bulbs the following July. Meanwhile, the squash patch has already produced 3 months of food before the garlic went in. Succession planting requires careful record keeping. The Amish mark planting dates on a simple chalkboard hung in their tool shed. They note which varieties perform best at different times, like how winter-density lettuce bolts less in summer heat than black-seeded Simpson. These observations fine-tune their system year after year. Small spaces benefit most from this approach. A 4-by-8-foot bed managed with succession planting can produce 6 different crops in a season: lettuce, then beans, then spinach, for example. The Amish calculate that tight rotations yield 4 times more food than single plantings in the same space. The system works because it matches nature's rhythms. Full season crops grow when heat-loving plants would struggle, and vice versa. By the time squash bugs arrive in July, the Amish have already harvested their first planting of zucchini. Pests and diseases never get established because preferred host plants keep moving. Your garden already has this potential. Start with 1 succession this season, maybe follow spring peas with summer beans. Notice how the ground never sits empty. Next year, add another rotation. Soon you'll have the Amish's most powerful secret, a garden that feeds you every week without fail. Double up with companion crops. The Amish plant cabbage where watermelon vines start to run, and this odd pairing makes perfect sense. The cabbage heads mature before the watermelon vines need that space. By harvest time, the cabbages are out and the melons take over completely. This isn't just companion planting, it's space sharing at its smartest. Beans and corn grow better together than apart. The beans climb the corn stalks like natural trellises while fixing nitrogen in the soil. The corn's deep roots tap nutrients the beans can't reach. One Amish family plants this duo in a checkerboard pattern, 4 corn stalks with 1 bean plant at each corner. Their yield increases 20% over planting them separately. Radishes work as nature's row markers. The Amish sow them alongside slow-germinating carrots, knowing the radishes will sprout fast and mark the rows. By harvest time, the radishes loosen soil for the developing carrot roots. They pull the radishes just as carrots need more room. 2 crops from 1 space with no waste. Onions and carrots make ideal neighbors. Onions repel carrot rust flies while carrots deter onion flies. The Amish alternate rows with 6-inch spacing instead of 12. The different root depths prevent competition. Onions grow shallow while carrots dive deep. This pairing yields more from less space with built-in pest control. Pumpkins grow well with corn, an old Native American trick the Amish still use. The pumpkin vines sprawl between corn stalks, their prickly leaves discouraging raccoons from stealing ears. The corn's shade keeps pumpkin fruits from scalding in summer sun. 1 patch produces both crops without needing extra ground. Spinach acts as a living mulch around broccoli plants. The Amish sow spinach seeds when transplanting broccoli starters. The spinach shades soil to retain moisture and cools broccoli roots. They harvest the spinach young, leaving room for broccoli heads to develop, two greens from one planting hole. Clover planted between cabbage rows fixes nitrogen and attracts beneficial insects. The low-growing clover doesn't compete with cabbage heads. When the cabbages finish, the Amish till the clover under as fertilizer for the next crop. This green manure system eliminates synthetic fertilizers completely. The payoff is simple. These pairings aren't random. They're time-tested recipes for getting more from your garden. Start with one combination this season. Try radishes with carrots or basil with tomatoes. Notice how plants help each other when placed right. Soon you'll see your whole garden as a web of beneficial relationships, just like the Amish do. The Amish don't grow more food because they have better soil. They grow more because they see opportunity where others see obstacles. That shady spot under your oak tree could be growing ginger. That blank wall could support a trellis of beans. The secret isn't magic, just observation and efficiency. Start small this season. Plant lettuce under your tomato cages. Try growing cucumbers up a fence instead of on the ground. See how much food you can harvest from places you previously ignored. One change leads to another. Soon, your small space will produce far more than you thought possible, just like the Amish farms do.